I remember when I was in school, I had classes like speechcraft, personality development. So in these classes, we were taught how to think, how to behave well, good manners, soft skills, advanced grammar. So basically how to behave like a good person, and if not behave like a good person, at least act like one. So in one of these classes, our teacher walked in and said, "Students, imagine you had no logical restrictions whatsoever. Imagine you had all the powers in the world you wanted to. Imagine you had all the wisdom you wanted to ever gain. What machine would you build?" Now, since the possibilities are endless, I could have made anything. So I wanted to be responsible and wise about it. And I kind of liked the teacher a lot, so I had to impress her somehow. So I tried to be as adult as a middle schooler can be. Being in middle school, I didn't even know what adult means, but still I tried to be adult. And I came up with an answer. So I stood up, quite proud of myself, and I thought I was having a really creative idea about whatever the problem statement I was faced with. So I stood up looking down on each and every single one of those students, because by that time school did not manage to kill my creativity. So I said to ma'am, I want to make an infinite food making machine so that I can help the poor and homeless in some way. Now I thought I was being real responsible, I thought I was making a good gesture, but the teacher didn't think so. She looked straight into my eyes with a face so disappointed that I still have nightmares about it. She said, "Prateek, sit down and be creative about it, think better." And all I could think was, "Ma'am, because unless you told me to be creative, I was not trying at all, isn't it? Now since you have told me to be creative, creativeness is just gonna run errands in my mind. Sure, go tell the homeless people to buy home, that's how you're gonna solve the problems, isn't it?" Our perspective is dependent on a lot of things. The lifestyle, the people we talk to, our language, our culture. And on an everyday basis, there are so many things that affect us. The books we read, the movies we watch, the songs we listen to. And right now, the internet is so pretty, it's so beautiful, it is so amazing that we don't have to pay for literally anything. You want to watch a movie, but you don't want to pay for it. You can pirate it. Please don't pirate the movies, but yeah, you have an option of pirating the movies. If you want to listen to music, but you don't want to pay for the music, or if the music player keeps on annoying you with ads, you can download modified version of the apps. If you want to read the books, but you don't want to pay for the books, you can download PDFs. So right now we have so many influences, opinions and thoughts around us without the need to have paying for that. So this is literally the worst time you could generalize any kind of thinking, let alone creative thinking or critical thinking. We have often heard about people complaining about the fact that schools teach us what to think rather than how to think. But again, how do you teach someone to think? Do you go like, "Welcome to my TED Talk, today I'm going to teach you how to think"? That's not how you do it. Voltaire, a French writer, once said that if you wish to converse with me, define your terms. And I believe this is one of the most beautifully said statements ever. Because imagine if everyone explained their terms before they said anything. If everyone explained what they meant before they opened their mouth, before they started yelling at us, how much of political and family dramas we could have avoided. If you want me to be creative, you should be able to explain what creativity means. If you want me to be a good and loving person, you should be able to explain what good and love means. If you want me to be virtuous, you should be able to explain what virtue means. So let's get down to the questions. What is creativity? What is critical thinking, and what does it mean to think out of the box? Does it just mean to break all the rules and regulations because apparently you broke the rules and regulations, you must be out of the box? And another question, does being critical and being creative means always being right? Because I have a lot of instances from history, we can say that things have gone way south than they should have gone. Atoms, one of the most beautiful and complex creations of this universe, have been compared to watermelons and plum puddings. Let me just repeat that. Atoms were compared to watermelons and plum puddings. I mean, yeah, in that defense I can say that science and technology wasn't that developed and advanced back then, but still, you literally had no other substitute for plum puddings. That's the best you could have come up with. This atomic model was known as the Thomson atomic model, and this atomic model was later proved false by the experiments of Rutherford. He took a gold foil and shot a lot of alpha particles through it, and let me not turn this into a chemistry lecture, but yeah, the Thomson atomic model was proved false by Rutherford's experiments. So we can see that there are a lot of risks being creative. We can be wrong at the end. So after being so critical and creative, and if we are being wrong at the end, what's the use? So why does one even be creative since he knows he can be wrong? In my opinion, it's disagreement. Heraclitus, a famous philosopher, said that where there is no strife, there is decay. Strife refers to disagreement. So if you are not disagreeing to anything, that just means you are going to follow the beliefs of the masses. You are just going to believe what the person in front of you is believing. And mind you, the guy in front of you is already doing the same. And perhaps you are the one who's continuing the chain. Perhaps you said to someone else and that guy is following your lead. Touch your hearts and say that you have never forwarded a WhatsApp message. Touch your hearts and say that you never saw a forwarded message in WhatsApp and said, damn, that's good information. Let me send it to 100 people that I know and I don't know. You have forwarded messages and you thought that was right, and people influenced by you. So, until unless we start disagreeing, we'll never be actually able to find the truth. But why don't people actually disagree a lot of times? We can just disagree and apparently we will be creative. Why don't we do? It's simple, because we have managed to create a safe space for us in the crowd. Our notion is that if we are down, the people in front of us have already gone down. And since I am down, the people behind me are also down. And since I am not alone, it's okay to be down. Since I am not alone, it's okay to make a fool of ourselves. At least I'm not standing out alone. That's the thing we fear the most, standing out alone. That's a nightmare. We never want to stand out alone. It's okay for people to make fun of us, unless and until we are in a crowd. That's what we fear the most. But what is a safe space? Safe space is basically anywhere you feel safe. That's a comfort zone you have created for us. It's safe, it's warm, it's comfortable. Why would anyone want to come out of the safe spaces? When you are inside the safe space, you're never going to be hurt. No one can hurt you when you're in a safe space. But still, we have to come out of our safe spaces, because since we say think out of the box, we need to know what the box is, where the box is, and why the box is. The boundaries, the limitations, the capabilities. For any problem, let it be a complex problem or a simple problem, the basic necessity is facts, information and data. And for the outcome to be good, for the outcome to be better than the last one, we need these facts to be good and amazing. That is why we have to perceive things critically. Unless until we do that, we are never going to think out of the box. And once we have started doing this, that box that has been trying to confine you, that box that has been keeping you away from your dreams, will be nothing more than just a bunch of imaginary points that you know how to manipulate now, because you have the facts, you have the will to disagree. What's the most that can happen if you step out of a safe spaces? People are going to laugh at you for what? Trying? That guy who's criticizing you, that guy who's laughing at you has no idea about the problem statement. He does not know you. He has no idea about the things you're facing. He has no idea about what an atom is. But still there he stands mocking us. We are on the stage. Perhaps we are in a debate. Maybe we are in the wrong side of the debate, but at least we are on the stage. And the people that have been mocking us are in the middle of nowhere, behind us. They have been laughing and they have no idea about what the thing is. They just wanted to see drama. That's why they are here. But we are the one who took the risk. We are the one who have the will to go against the mass beliefs. We are the one who have taken the action, because we know just talking and discussing and having ideas is never going to make any difference. We knew that making an action would make the change, and we made the action, and finally we are a part of the change. And here I am on the stage, there you are on the stage in front of so many amazing people, and today I have managed to let a few more amazing people know my name. So let us try to step out of safe spaces, so that one day we all can be a part of some big stage, and one day we can let some of the amazing people, a few more amazing people, know our name. Thank you.